Hello and welcome to News 12. My name is Bill Ganello. I'm the sports director here.
And I'm Amy Lundy, the weekend sports anchor. Some have referred to me as the B team. But we are here to present to you our version of the Sacred Heart Football 2000 season. And we did it chronologically. We started with the hiring of Jim Fleming as head coach, and it culminates, of course, with the final game.
Mostly done by Amy throughout the year. But we can also tell you that I like the way we've done this. We've put together, I guess, a three-pronged way of doing it. We did our version of it, which is our video shot basically from ground level, and we took the two coaches' films, which is, of course, from the back of the end zone and the 50-yard line, and we put it all together with a little bit of music, and we had a lot of fun with it. We're calling it Sacred Heart University Football 2000 Through Our Eyes. We hope you enjoy it. I think the best way to describe the Sacred Heart football program leading up to the year 2000 was that of a sinking ship. In need of direction and leadership, the Pioneers brought in a new coach, Jim Fleming. His job was to get the football operation kick-started, and kick it he did. A college program is just beginning its rebuilding process. At Sacred Heart University, the Pioneers have begun the procedure by making the most important announcement, a new head football coach, and his name is Jim Fleming. As we speculated last week, Fleming leaves as defensive coordinator at Villanova. There he is to take over a struggling program. All concerned, though, tell me that they are pleased with the first step and feel that Fleming is the right man for the job.
If it wasn't a doable job, I wouldn't be here. I think there's an upside to this place, and that's why I took an opportunity. I want to be a head coach, and this is my opportunity to make a mark.
It's 75 resumes. We interviewed 7 people. We had 25 Division I coaches that participated in the process. So I think what separated Jim from the others is that from our perspective, he had the insight. He was very intuitive about what needed to be done to take a program that has been struggling and to make it better than it was.
Well, Fleming's previous coaching experience, East Carolina, Brown, Boise State before Villanova.
There's a new leader to the Sacred Heart football program, and Saturday afternoon, new head coach Jim Fleming put his troops on public display for the first time in the red-white scrimmage game. Well, there's plenty of reason for optimism and improvement for the Pioneers, who won 2 games in their first season at the Division I AA level. Marvin Royal might be a starter at running back when the season begins in the fall. The Pioneers are going to put the pads away until early August, when preseason drills begin and the second season will get underway at the Division I AA level.
They have the same colors, the same uniforms, located in the same place, and have most of the same players, but there's a new feel around Sacred Heart University's football program, and it's spurred on by a head coach who asks many things but wants only one in return. That's commitment. It's a spirited atmosphere on the SHU football field. Team going full out, even in practice, and all snaps. First-year head coach Jim Fleming has a plan of action for victory. And let me tell you something. If you don't follow orders, you may be escorted by an assistant coach for a little walk of the football field. You know, it seems like a little hard edge, but it really isn't. There's a true connection between the players and coach. There's a belief that one needs the other and that they all are, in fact, working for a common goal.
So this is a coach's dream because they're willing to do everything you ask them to do, because they're truly believing that if they'll follow the plan and follow the program, they have an opportunity to be successful and win games, which is what we all come here to do.
Everything around here just has a tempo to it, you know, like we win and that's it, you know. It's no losing. It's just we have to come here and win.
He has re-established the school spirit within the football team, as people have known that the Sacred Heart University football team has gone through a lot of losing seasons. He's taken that and turned that around and told people just to believe in one more chance that we will make a difference this year.
And one of the differences we can already see has been in the conditioning. Yeah, you could see the physical improvements, but Coach Fleming also says winning consists of working the body and working the mind.
They were not in tremendous shape in terms of, you know, being physical-looking football players. I think at this point in time, you know, through the work of our strength and conditioning people, we've done a good job putting some bulk on them, and we've gotten some kids bigger, and I think we've increased their speed somewhat. In terms of mentally it's night and day. I think that when you come into a program that's been down like this, these kids are very hungry, want to be led, want to be shown how to win, and these guys are walking with some confidence, and they've got very high expectations of themselves. I've got very high expectations of them, and I think that if we can, prepare well, stay healthy, play solid football, we could have a successful season.
And that season starts at home September 2nd against Assumption. Well, a new football era begins tomorrow at Sacred Heart University, and as News 12's Amy Lundy found out, the Pioneers of Sacred Heart will try to turn it around against Assumption College under the lights.
The last time Sacred Heart tried opening its season with a night game, the lights blew out. A mishap perhaps befitting the struggling football program that last year finished 2-9 and dismissed its head coach mid-season. But here now is Jim Fleming, an energetic figure with a structured style.
When you make a coaching change, there's always a new sense of excitement, and there's an anticipation that things are going to get better.
But with change comes the element of risk, and Fleming has made the interesting decision to take the best offensive player in the short history of Sacred Heart and put him on the other side of the ball. Kahim Cowan, you've switched positions for him. He did a pretty decent job at running back last year. Why switch him to corner?
I think that a lot of people are probably looking at us cross-eyed for making that kind of move.
We agreed upon it. I will see a little bit of offense, but mainly I'm going to concentrate on defense, and I think I can help the team out well at corner.
Fleming also infused the team with junior college transfers, including a fresh-faced starting quarterback from California.
With the new coaching staff put in, we're built on winning in this program now, not going mediocre like it was in the past.
Justin will have to wear his braces for one more year, but maybe that's a sign that the football program is getting it all straightened out. In Fairfield, Amy Lundy, News 12 Connecticut Sports.
Let's face it, in the past, your heart has gone out to Sacred Heart. The football team the past 2 seasons has gone 2-9, but the Pioneers brought in some new coaching blood and a bright new outlook this year, and his name is Jim Fleming, formerly an assistant at Villanova and trying to get things turned around as SHU opened its season under the lights tonight against Assumption College. But what's this? Sacred Heart's first play from scrimmage. Justin Holfreder, the JC transfer from California, hooks up with DeVaron Johnson on a 54-yard pass. Well, after a somewhat scary opening sequence, it is my pleasure to report Sacred Heart absolutely crushed Assumption College last night, 55-21. Marvin Royal rushed for 103 yards. Quarterback Justin Holfreder threw 3 TDs, and the team made a winner out of Jim Fleming, who was making his debut as head coach of SHU.
In fact, Sacred Heart rolled up 592 yards of total offense, and for his efforts, Holfreder was named NEC Offensive Player of the Week.
SHU looking for their second win under head coach Jim Fleming, taking on Bryant College. Still third, Sacred Heart driving. Justin Holfreder hits DeVaron Johnson, signals no catch, but look, he did catch it. And a short time later, there was a controversial call on a punt. Jim Fleming questions it. The team gets fired up. And look, on the next play from scrimmage, McLeod coughs up the ball. Good defense by Sacred Heart. Then SHU takes over, and Holfreder finds Andrew Gonzalez in the back of the end zone. Perfect throw, and the PAT put him up by 1. And hey, Sacred Heart goes on to win this thing by a final of 19-15, already matching their win total from last season.
And a clutch performance by the Sacred Heart offense. The catch by DeVaron Johnson with about 3 minutes left gave them the lead, and the defense took over from there. Craig Capruso, 7 total tackles. Jason Jarrett, 6, including 4 unassisted.
Earlier, it was Sacred Heart coach Jim Fleming looking to take his Pioneers to 3-0 against Central Connecticut State. But the Sacred Heart D would have a big day. Third down deep in Central territory. Kyle St. George gets in and gets a sack. Gets the ball back for his team. The Pioneers then went on to score 34 straight points in the game. They win by a score of 34-6. The first time ever SHU started with a record of 3-0.
Marvin Royal led a balanced Sacred Heart rushing attack with 80 yards in this 7-yard run. And the Pioneers weren't afraid to use a little chicanery. Here, Mike Kraft runs around the right side on a fake punt, getting the first down, keeping the drive alive, and the special teams comes through. A blocked field goal attempt. Kaheem Cowan, or it could have been Butch Ruda, either one, led to the easy Sacred Heart victory. You got a sense that the Pioneers were gaining more confidence on the road in New York facing St. John's. Sacred Heart tricks them again, a reverse on the punt return, and Kaheem Cowan goes 71 yards and a touchdown, running over the Red Storm along the way. The team also doing well in the kicking game as Tim Redican booted a pair of field goals from 32 and 39 yards, and proving they can make the big play on defense. Ryan Pulaski is in perfect position to get the fumble and go. 70 yards and the touchdown. In fact, the Sacred Heart defense putting in a fine performance overall, allowing only 49 yards rushing, sacking the quarterback 5 times. Another fine day for the receivers. Andrew Gonzalez, quick slant for the score. Sacred Heart proving it's no fluke, going up and over St. John's, whipping the Red Storm by a final of 27-6. Sacred Heart's ability to make the big play never more apparent the following week at Monmouth. It's Pulaski again, this time going 35 yards for the touchdown, leaving the cameraman asking, "Are you serious? Are you serious?" The Pioneers win 13-7. Well, probably the best, no, make that the best sports story so far this sports season has been the start of the Sacred Heart University football team. In search of direction, a program that had been floundering, only 2 wins a year ago, has seen the light. They've averaged only 800 fans a game entering this season, but now that number has tripled. And the reason? Well, a new coach with a new program and new ideas, and he joins us now. Jim Fleming has taken a program and truly turned it around, and quickly. How about that undefeated start, Coach? 5-0. He's joined us from the newsroom. And, Coach, first of all, welcome. And secondly, how have you done this?
Well, thanks for having me, Bill. I mean, how I've done it, it's a conglomeration of a lot of things. But basically, it starts off with good kids that are working extremely hard. I think an outstanding coaching staff. And I think, the critical ingredient has been the support that we've gotten from administration and the student body to help put the whole thing together.
Okay, let's talk about the fact that you're just about halfway home. You're entering your 6th game now. What are your goals the rest of the way? I'm sure they've changed a bit from the beginning of the year.
Well, the goals haven't changed. I mean, our goals, starting off the season, were to come on out and play physical, hard-nosed football. One of the approaches that we had with the kids was, never look at the scoreboard. It's a situation where you go out and play every snap extremely hard, and that has not changed at all. Now, obviously, we are in the hunt for a championship, and that's something that kind of changes the overall picture of what you eventually want to get to. But our focus is strictly on improving this week and then getting prepared for Stony Brook next week.
The Pioneers were looking to go a perfect 6-0 against Stony Brook this afternoon. And second quarter, Stony Brook with the ball, and Jason Jarrett sacks Brian Stanley. It was controversial, but they do rule it a safety, and that made it 9-0 SHU. Still second on the punt by Sacred Heart. Jarrett on special teams, nice open field tackle, and Sacred Heart just looking great.
Especially on offense. Here, Justin Holtfritter goes long. 80 yards to DeVaron Johnson, untouched for the score. And then in the third quarter, it's Holtfritter again. This time finding converted quarterback Doug Jeffrey in the end zone.
Sacred Heart goes on to win it by a final of 23-6. The Pioneers are still unbeaten. Next Saturday, they're back home hosting Albany. Well, a couple of weeks ago, Sacred Heart football coach Jim Fleming told us here at News 12 that today's matchup against Albany would be the Pioneers' toughest so far. The Pioneers, the most amazing story in Connecticut this football season because of their dramatic turnaround under Fleming. The Pioneers unbeaten heading into today. Would the streak continue? Well, coming home after a 3-game road trip, great games on the move. The Sacred Heart Coyote Mayowa strips the ball. The fumble recovered by Jason Jarrett.
Again, it's special teams leading the charge. Kaheem Cowan with the block. Michael Scott goes 38 yards for the score. That crazy cameraman comment. this one ended up a real close one.
Thanks to some stellar late game play by the Pioneers, Sacred Heart goes on to win it in OT by a final of 35-28. Marvin Royal had the game-winning touchdown, and folks, the Pioneers are now 7-0. Next week, they host Iona.
And kudos go out to Norwalk native Jamel Keels, who made the key defensive play in overtime, preserving the victory. In Game 8, it was an unforgettable afternoon for a running back who ended up getting national acclaim. Junior Marvin Royal set a school rushing record, running for 302 yards and 4 touchdowns in a 46-7 blowout of Iona. Royal started it off with a 73-yard breakaway in the second quarter, followed by an 8-yard run later in the half. But he wasn't done yet. Early in the third, it's Royal again, scampering 10 yards and proving to be a royal pain to the Gales. He capped off his scoring with a 5-yard plunge.
The running backs have this thing that we call maximize opportunities. That means any time you have a chance to get in the game, have your hands on the ball, or make a play, that you take the greatest opportunity to maximize the opportunity. Because we feel that it might be the last one. We might not get the ball there again.
You got a guy that can jam it up in there and play physical. That's kind of football that we're hanging our hat on. And I really loved watching him run last weekend because it was just mean and nasty, and it was outstanding.
And a national magazine agreed. In Sports Illustrated's November 20th issue, Royal gained notoriety by being put into the magazine's weekly Faces in the Crowd section. The junior broke the school record for TDs in a single game, first set in '95. His 302 yards was 17 better than the previous mark 9 seasons before, and he also set the school mark for total offense. And his game average of 10.4 yards per carry was, you guessed it, another record. But this wasn't, and Royal would be the first to tell you, an individual effort. Those holes were opened up for him by a talented core of offensive linemen. Marty Wyman, Jason St. John, Chris Heavey, Stuart Oakes, Derek Bailey, Jason Bendy, and more. They hit anything that moved. They'd hit a wall. They'd hit each other. So when you see that guard pulling, give him the credit that you'd give those great running backs. Look at how they seal a hole and communicate to each other. Up next for the Pioneers, their biggest test of the season.
If you were at home today on your couch in your jammies eating some donuts, fretting about whether Michael Vick would play for Virginia Tech against Miami, I say, what were you thinking? You missed the only game between unbeaten teams in all of college football, and it was right in your backyard. Sacred Heart at 8-0, hosting Robert Morris College, led by former NFL coach Joe Walton. And what a matchup. Early first quarter, Robert Morris punting, and it's blocked by the Pioneers. That's a good way to get things started. Colonials with the ball again, but Peter Athens comes up with the INT. That set up a Sacred Heart field goal, cut it to 7-3. Late in the half, things get interesting. Colonials on the move, and Lepsick picked off, this time by Kaheem Cowan, who returns it. Love the return, about 30 yards there. Then it's Justin Holtfretter to DeVaron Johnson. Great grab. They rule no TD. Looked good to me, but it didn't matter because on the next play, Marvin Royal runs it in. And that tied it at 10. SHU would take a 2017 lead, but it's Lepsick to Hockenberry in the middle. He marches on in for the score as Colonials go on to beat the team with heart, 31-20. Robert Morris extends that doggone longest active winning streak in all of Division I to 15 games. After the game, the Pioneers were disappointed and said Robert Morris played with a business-like, almost icy confidence.
They wasn't even, I seen in their plays, none of them was like cracking, none of them was scared about nothing. They was like, all right, like next play. Like they have that in their head, next play.
I mean, Joe Walton's their head coach, their whole staff's a great coaching staff, you know, well-coached team. I mean, we knew that coming in. It's just, we knew they'd take, you know, team's weakness and use it against them. And we seemed to find it on that drive and played stronger than us in the second half.
Some upside. Holtfretter threw for 262 yards. SHU did have the edge in total offense. Next week, they're on the road at St. Francis in GPA.
So did that mean that Sacred Heart's chances for a great season would end? Did they think it was over?
What? Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Let's do it.
The final game of the Pioneers' turnaround season. To the game, Brian Pulowski flies in for the sack. Pioneer D doing its usual thing, and Sacred Heart's offense not bad either. Justin Holfreder goes deep to DeVaron Johnson. He's so unflappable.
And what a way for senior tight end Chris Wilkinson to end his career. This reception for 21 yards made him the Pioneers' all-time leader in receiving yards. And even though Kaheem Cowan didn't play much offense this year, he still knows the way to the end zone, here going 88 yards on a kickoff return for touchdown.
And guess what? Sacred Heart wins by a final of 22-20. And after 2 straight seasons of 2-9, they finish this year 10-1. That's pretty impressive.
After their tremendous turnaround 10-1 season this past year, our Amy Lundy, who spent many a Saturday afternoon on the Pioneers field, sat down with the NEC Coach of the Year.
When you stopped, you know, say when you were 6-0 or 7-0, and you thought about how honestly bad the team was last year, did you have to just stop and catch your breath for a second?
I never pointed to last year, never talked about last year, never thought about last year, because when I came on in, I looked at what we had, and it was, you know, very evident we had a solid nucleus of good kids that would work, you know, that really grasped what we were asking them to do as a coaching staff. Obviously, one of the things that impacted this group of kids as much as anything was that, you know, when I came in at first, you know, whoever was sitting there, I was going to say the same thing, you know, is that we're going to go ahead and win now. I mean, you start looking at what's happening around college football, guys are getting 3 years to turn football programs around. I'm not saying we're a Maryland or we're a, you know, Notre Dame or anything like that, but I am saying that, you know, you've got to take the players you have in the program, maximize their ability to play, and try to win immediately.
Was there anything this season that you were just blown away by, that you didn't expect, that you just said, wow, either a person or a thing that happened?
That's a tough one. I think the most impacting thing that I, you know, felt was their reaction to the loss of Robert Morris. You know, I knew they'd be down. It was a big game and you lose it. And I've been around teams that lose, you know, big games, and been around teams that win big games. I mean, it took us really until, you know, the Wagner game to get over the loss against Robert Morris. And I think our kids are still, you know, questioning what's better. You know, go 2-9 or go 10-1 and come that close. And that's, you know, that's where I want them. I'm glad they're that way because I'm exactly that same way. I feel like, you know, the one loss is like a piece of glass in my eye.
You talked about college programs and the expectations, and I mean, you've come here and you've turned it around big time, and that's going to get people's attention. So I'm curious about your future.
I have big ideas, big aspirations, you know, to develop this into a first-class, top-rate, championship-level football program. My future is secure right here. You know, I'm very happy here. You know, my heart is right here at this point in time, and I want to make sure that, you know, that I can develop a first-class winning football program and put my name on it.
So we're all dog faces. We're all very, very different. But there is one thing that we all have in common. We're soldiers. But we're American soldiers. We've been kicking ass for 200 years. We're 10-1. We're 10